Hello and welcome everybody to the not weekend update, the start of week update, I think. Yeah, okay, so it's Monday morning and, well, it's Monday afternoon here. Monday morning over in the States. I said to myself, well, I best record something because I didn't get to it this weekend. So here it is. I'm going to go through the markets as they stand this morning. Not a whole lot of change since well, maybe a little bit actually, which is interesting, but not a whole lot since what would have been the weekend update. So let's dive into it. First of all, that's the homepage of my website, bullwebs.org. Go over there, check it out. If you like what I do, then you get nicely Elliott wave updates and charts at bullwebs.org. Okay, let's get on with the show, shall we? Okay, so we'll go to. You're gonna go with the FX markets first, the dollar FX markets. You know, the dollar's dying and all that sort of stuff. Yeah, okay. I don't quite buy that. In the end, all fiat currencies will die, but just not yet. Okay. Here we are. This is euro dollar. It pains me to point this out, but all the talk of inflation. Right, prices have been rising. We did have like a shutdown in production for nearly a year, or shipping. So what has happened since the beginning of 2021? So over a year now, the dollar has been gaining strength against the euro anyway. So my point of view is that this is actually an ongoing pattern that's happening here. That's unfolding. This is the daily chart here in the euro dollar. So you can see that I'm tracking a long-term triangle in wave B. I was and have been looking for the low of wave D of that triangle, and we actually came close last week, but we have rebounded so far. So I'm still sticking with the triangle idea. And like I said last week, back in May 2021, everybody thought the dollar was dead, and here we had the euro rallying back up to face, the previous high again. And what happened? But a complete and utter decline in the euro. So, I'm no fan of any particular currency, but this, I think it's best to view it more in terms of a pattern rather than, a dogmatic, let's say, biased out view. I know I have my biases as well. I can't deny that. But here we are. It's a pattern. It's following a pattern. I think we're close. I know we have been close to a wave D low, but I think we're close to a wave D low here. Here's the 4-hour chart. We have a significant spike, and let's call it not insignificant spike off the previous low last week. And I think we can make a case that we had 5 waves higher and a 3 waves decline. So if going to the hourly chart here, you can see a possible wave 1 complete at 111.22 is what I'm calling it, and 3 waves down into, let's say, Friday evening, or the overnight lows even, today. So what should be next? If this short-term pattern is correct, then what should happen next is a rally in a third wave. So let's see if we get a push above 111.22 today, and that will confirm, I think, this wave count, and we can again concentrate on wave E, which should push us probably back up towards that 120 level again. Okay, let's move on. Cable. Looking for a rally in cable. Haven't quite got there yet. Okay. This decline that has happened in cable has been viewed, I think, correctly as a corrective decline. Granted, it is a very long and drawn-out corrective decline, but it is very corrective in nature nonetheless. Excuse me. I think the best way to view it probably right now is an unfolding, if not complete, triple combination. So we have a series of trees all banding together to create this fourth wave pattern. And if we get into the hourly chart, we can see this is the ABC, the final tree that creates the final C of wave 4. So what I'm tracking over this, let's say, the next couple of days will be if we finally kind of get to the end of this pattern. Like it's about as extended as you could get for a correction. right now. So no rebound just yet. We didn't get the same reaction higher as we got in euro-dollar last week. So looking for that wave one, that magic wave one, to happen this week. Okay, so dollar yen. You may remember from a few weeks ago, I've been looking for a wave one up out of triangle. Here's the fourth wave triangle, and what have we got now? We've got a nice impulsive move higher. I think it's a third wave within this developing wave one pattern, and I think this initial wave one in blue here, which will be part of a 5-wave pattern itself, but this initial wave one in blue could push us up towards that 120 level again. Okay, so the triangle worked out. We've had a nice impulsive rally out of that. Let's see how we get on with that from here. Here's the hourly chart. A couple of different ways of viewing it, but anyway, a possible 5-wave pattern with a wave 3 underway. We've got either a wave 1 in green or a wave 1 in blue. I don't know. It is yet to be decided, I suppose, in that case. In terms of, let's say, what I suspect or expect for this week, I think we've got what can only be described as a third wave rally popping out pretty soon. I think we'll get a corrective decline, probably back towards that 117 handle again, 117, probably into the 116s in wave 4. I think we should hold above this band of support here, let's say about 116.32 and 115.90. So we're in around the 116 area. That should hold as wave 4 completes, and we should push higher again in wave 5. Wave 2 is quite small, if we are going to view this as wave 2. So it's quite small. It does not suggest that it doesn't require that wave 4 be bigger, but usually, we get an alteration in kind of the characteristic of each internal correction. So if wave 2 is quite small, then we should probably get a little bit larger of a wave 4, or, the opposite side of the spectrum, let's say, for a wave 4. So we'll see how this develops over the next couple of days, but it should be a corrective decline in wave 4. Okay, let's move on. This is the stock market. Again, I'm kind of within two minds here, and you'll see that in the short-term count. But in general, tracking a series of 1-2s off the high, this can still be viewed as 3 waves down. So I'm not throwing that out of the window yet either. Even though, again, my bias is to the downside. But I'm not. Let's say I'm not completely capitulated towards the idea that this is only a correction within a larger pattern. Let's say I'll leave it at that. Okay, if it's a series of 1-2s, then on the lower degree, we probably should see a 1-2 again. I am not sold on the idea that wave 2 here is complete either. We may have a higher, let's say a higher low developing here in wave 2. So we'll see how that goes. Here is the hourly count, and we are taking, on this count, I'm taking the alternate view, or let's say the larger wave 2 view, and it could be a series of 3s. So again, that triple combination. So 3 up in A, 3 down in B, and maybe we get a 3 wave up in wave C as well. This morning's action, you could take it or leave it. Nothing decisive here yet. You can see the alternate count here would be allowing for a 1-2 pattern, but it's up in the air. It's up in the air at the moment. I would, let's say at a base case, I would say I might even prefer a higher wave C to complete wave 2. So that would suggest a break of 34.150 again before falling into a third wave. So let's see how that goes. Here we are. Move on to gold. This is a 4-hour count in gold. Expecting a second wave. We seem to be into that second wave now. We were very close, a little bit, hot under the collar last week, as the market just shot to the stratosphere. In the long term, I do expect this market to shoot to the stratosphere, but I do want a substantial, a meaty correction. If this is a wave 1 high, I want a very substantial correction in wave 2. Probably back, maybe even down into the range of the previous triangle again. maybe even to that 1850 level. We'll see how it goes. But if we did get 3 waves down into about 1850, well, that would really be like probably a screaming buy at that point. Okay, here we are in the short-term count. You can see still not sold on wave B done here yet. We have declined to a new low, but I'm in two minds about this. You can view it a couple of different ways. I mean, you could show that as a 5-wave decline in wave A, and then an ongoing expanded flat correction wave B, or the expanded flat correction wave B would be similar here as well, but just a larger expansion, let's say, in the pattern. Yet to be decided. Of course, if we just capitulate and kind of waterfall lower today, and we start pushing, the 1900 level again, that will just be a clear-cut wave C is underway then at that point. Okay, so anyway, that's the short-term view over the next couple of days in gold. I would like to possibly see wave 2 done by the end of this week anyway, before, let's say, turning bullish into wave 3 again. Okay, so here's crude oil. The question being here, last week I was looking for a capitulation within this C wave, which had just kind of rallied to, I don't know, how would you describe it? A high that was utterly, in my view, utterly unsustainable, no matter what viewpoint you take on things. And every time over the in recent history anyway, every time crude oil decides to push that $100 barrier or even above it, the world economy tends to fall apart. So, you might be careful what you wish for there, even though I do suspect the world economy is falling apart before our very eyes anyway. However, we might like to mask that fact. Okay, if this is a B wave top in place, let's see what the hourly count shows us. That 1-2 pattern did suffice, and we did accelerate lower into a third wave, and I think we're probably approaching the end of this third wave down now. You can see wave 1, 2, and then a 1, 2, 3, possible triangle fourth wave, and then a decline into a fifth wave. Not quite sure. Maybe you could call that like a running flat fourth wave as well. Depends on your taste there. And falling again today, I suppose you might say it's in line with the peace talks. I had a crazy idea on Friday there, which I intimated to these subscribers, and that was what's actually building right now is a road out of a crude oil pinch, which may turn into a crude oil market saturation, a glut. What's happened since Russia invaded Ukraine is two, let's say, previously market pariahs, that being Iran and Venezuela, have now become darlings. And I think we are probably even, at this point, we're even days away from seeing both Venezuela and Iran enter the world crude oil market again. And if that happens, plus if we do get a negotiated settlement in the Russia-Ukraine war, if we get it, which probably is more likely than not at this point, I think we could get 3 suppliers back into the world market quicker than you could say, I don't know, runaway in. I don't have a I don't have a smart comment there. Quicker than you can say Vladimir Putin backwards. Okay, so I'm just, I just tend to take another, that does get me in trouble a lot. I'm not going to deny that, but I am inexorably drawn to the contrarian viewpoint here. And I think we may even see a complete and utter collapse in crude oil prices if that scenario plays out. Okay, And if the opposite happens, I'm not going to say please don't shout at me. But I'm just saying that is an open door right now, and it seems to be a door that's completely swung and screwed open at this point. Venezuela is going to come back in and start supplying crude oil to the US, and Iran is looking so likely to be back into accepted into the world market again. And I can hear the screams in Germany. I can hear the screams in the US right now, just to bring anybody in. So I can only see that having one effect here. Okay, so back to the pattern. Is this a decline or a developing wave 1 down? My viewpoint is yes. Now, whether we get to the wave 1 low sooner than I have suggested here, that's also a possibility. So over the next few days, I would like to see this wave 1 pattern complete. We'll see. We will see. No doubt we will see. Over the next, maybe even by tonight, we might see wave 4 correction higher begin, but I'll review that on tonight's charts on the website. So if you do want the charts tonight, then go and join the website. Okay. Here is the 4-hour count in the S&P. It's not dissimilar to what's actually happening in crude oil at the moment, although I would make one clarification there. I do think that the decline of what I have labeled wave 2 there, I do think this decline probably fits better as an impulsive decline in the S&P than it does in the Dow. So I think a third of a third is probably coming sooner rather than later, maybe, but yet to decide whether this second wave pattern is done yet. It's the overriding sentiment here, on my view anyway, or overriding sentiment in my point of view, is wave 2 done. So we get to the hourly count here. Again, allowing for the idea that we have a 333 developing here, maybe 3 up, 3 down, 3 up again in wave 2, with also the alternate, actually 2 alternates here yet to be decided. Probably very low probability this alternate wave 2 green at this point in time, but we'll see how it goes. Okay, let's move on. Silver. What's the silver lining here? The 4-hour count. We do have a gap lower this morning in silver. I suppose that is kind of reflecting the burgeoning positivity here from negotiations again underway. Thank God the negotiations are actually underway. I was praying for those negotiations, and thank God they have actually started. Now, if only people could just pull in their horns and actually look at the situation on the ground and say, what can we do to actually make things better here rather than worse? That'd be good. Okay, now if it's again a developing C wave down in silver, well, I think this would probably be the least expected outcome in the silver market right now. A break of below $20 again. That would probably be the least expected outcome. So the hourly count, I'm tracking a developing 5-wave pattern. It seems we may well this morning have that in. I'm not saying I was looking for a spike lower into today's lows or a gap lower, but I was looking for a 5th wave decline to complete wave 1 today, and it seems that's what has developed. So if we get a second wave this week, we do get a second wave off this low here. That is if we have wave 1 in place. If we do get a second wave, then we'll probably rebound back in towards that previous 4th wave again. So back towards $25 again in 3 waves, and then a capitulation down into a 3rd wave. So that would be the outlook. We'll see how it goes. And we have Bitcoin. I was of the idea that we have a third of a third developing here. I'm not quite so sure about that anymore. There is an argument to be made for a triangle pattern here also. So could this be a 4th wave? Could this be a 4th wave correction, a 4th wave triangle? Possibly. A, B, C, D, and an E wave developing. if it's an E wave developing, we could have, let's say, a push towards. Let's get in there a little more. Okay, so if this is an A, B, C, D, and E, we could have a push back above 42,000 again before an acceleration lower into a fifth wave. This is a viable outcome right now. If it continues, let's see if we get a rally. Let's say towards the end of the day today. If that's the case, then I'll update the short-term chart to show a triangle developing here. Here is what I have been looking for. Again, a rebound into today is expected as a possible wave 2 scenario, but also, let's say, we could take that alternate triangle view as well. So in both cases, I would suspect that we get another bounce back towards 42,500 before any capitulation or resolution of the downside happens. Base case scenario. Okay. And that is that. Thank you so much again for clicking, for watching. If you're the first time here, be sure to subscribe. Check out the website, bowwebs.org. And as always, I give you the good and bad news in the market, but I definitely always like to end with the good news of salvation. There it is. I'm not going to do a hard sell today. It's Monday. Here's your break. If you want to turn to life, that's it. Admit, believe, and confess. Someone came here. The only God to ever sacrifice himself for you was Jesus. Every other God that has ever been professed on planet Earth is a demanding and dictatorial God. No other God came to die for you. So there it is. God's blessings to you all. I pray for those, and maybe you could join me and pray for those peace talks in Ukraine and throughout the rest of the world. There is war raging everywhere. And wars and rumors of wars. You know what Matthew said, or Jesus said through Matthew. There will be wars and rumors of wars. And that's what we have. Okay. Until later on in the week. Maybe I'll do a weekend update. God's blessings to you all. Maranatha.